All right. Get off reading today. Be sure to also scope me out on my podcast, The Ignorance of the Masses. I'm going to be doing a little podcast today. Not a little one. I shouldn't say a little one. I'm going to be doing a podcast today covering possibly this movie by Nicolas Cage, National Treasure. I'm also going to be going through the Umbris Idearum a little bit as well. Perhaps I'll do it here and I'll also do it in the podcast actually. It's actually a really good movie. If you pay attention to this movie, there's actually a lot of truths in it. And some of the truths that are in the movie, there's a lot in there. If you know how to read between the lines of this movie, National Treasure, you can actually see a whole lot. For instance, with the glasses that belong to Benjamin Franklin, right? They are in blue and red spectrum, right? Now, if you read books by people like Walter Russell, for example, read books by like Walter Russell, I believe it is, and they speak on red shift and blue shift, right? How everything is polarities of light. Right? There's polarities of light, red shift, blue shift, and it also speaks on how when they roll the blood, right, on the thing that does the cipher. I forget exactly what it was called, that tool that they used, but it was in the pipe, right? It was the pipe, and essentially the blood showed the hidden message, right? So that has to do with actually like reincarnating and like basically in a fashion that's in reverse of the heavens, right? Like tattooed in reverse, right? And it doesn't have so much to do with blood per se, but has to do more like the protoplasm of the soul, right? So there's a lot of great truths in that movie. You have to know how to read between the lines, though. Also, some stuff about the movie also, if you know how to look in between, kind of speaks on like how the country possibly even like kind of like sold itself in a way, right? Because if you remember the scene where he tries to walk out the store with a copy of the Declaration of Independence, the woman stops him, right? But he has the real thing, right? So in that scene, you have an individual trying to walk out the store with the real Declaration of Independence, but it's being bought real cheap, right? Is the point, right? So it has to do with perhaps something that has that's valueless, right? Something that has no value, right? You can't place a value on the Declaration of Independence because there is no value on it, right? So in that movie, you see a metaphor in regards to something really great being sold for something really cheap, right? What else is in that movie? What else happened? A few other things happened in that movie I can't think of right now. It's kind of a recap on it. All right. So for our base card, we have the King of Cups. Base card. Next we have Six of Cups. Six of Cups. Right side up. We have the Page of Pentacles. Right side up. All right. We have the Five of Swords. Right side up. We have the Sun in reverse. The Sun in reverse. And we have the Page of Cups, reverse. So the Nine of Cups reversed, or I'm sorry, the King of Cups reversed, is about putting your foot forward, right? It's about putting your foot forward and moving forward in consciousness and surety, despite the waves crashing in around you, right? Despite that everything around you is kind of like in turmoil, right? Despite the fact that everything in front of you and everything is just turmoil, this is about moving forward and persevering in the face of challenges and obstacles. Okay, so since it's reversed, this could possibly mean kind of like an individual, you know, a lot of people think about giving up, right? Giving up, you know, in the face of the obstacles, right? So, with that being said, that is the base card. You have the Six of Cups. I'm sorry. Yeah, Six of Cups. And this is about, this is a card about care, right? This is a card about care, which is the generative principle. Right? You have the masculine handing over to the feminine, right? Who is receiving, right? Who is receiving, who is receptive, right? Because the feminine aspect is receptive, right? So this is about reception and growth. Reception and growth, right? So perhaps in the midst of the turmoil, you didn't quite keep things together, and but now you kind of see that, you know, what it is, and you have to be able to grow from the turmoil, right? And you have the Page of Pentacles, which also has to do with moving forward, right? It has to do with moving forward, right? And you're looking at all the elements involved in this, and you're able to actually bring everything together in a way that is going to be fruitful, right? You're able to communicate what it is that you need, right? You're able to communicate what it is that you need, right? You have the Five of Swords. This has to do with gaining something, right? This has to do with this is a card about gaining something and taking something from somebody, right? Five of Swords. This has to do with taking something from somebody, right? Or taking something, you know, for yourself, right? It can mean taking something for yourself as well. All right, so it can mean about self-love, self-care, things like that. of that nature. All right. You have the sun in reverse. So this has to do with a loss of consciousness, right? And a loss of innocence, right? This has to do with a loss of consciousness, a loss of innocence, right? That's what this has to do with. So even a loss of a divine state or a status, right? So this is the loss of a status, right? And you have the Page of Cups, right? And reverse, and what this has to do with is individuals are staying in the same stage of an old paradigm, right? So this is about coming to grips with losing the old paradigm, right? And stepping into a new paradigm, right? Stepping into a new paradigm. So yeah, that is my reading for today. If you get a chance, please be sure to check out my podcast, The Ignorance of the Masses. I'm actually going to be doing a small podcast on this book today. I'm going to be going over this book today and show you a little bit about how this book is used essentially to tell stories, and how this key in here is actually used to tell stories. I'll show you this. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope everyone has a good day.